Good morning, guys. I hope you're all doing well today. I'm continuing with the reading of my first novel in a series, Odyssey of Eden, or Black and White Odyssey of Eden. Here we go. Ellen was obsessed with her smooth skin, bare and entirely his to indulge upon at that point, glistening with beads of sweat in the fading afternoon sun. It was not her fault. It was never their fault. How can you make a choice if you don't understand the choice? He hoped that somehow she would divulge her name to him in some indirect manner, so that he would not have to ask it. Only a few hours prior, he would not have cared. But now the thought of asking struck fear into him, and he felt compelled to get the answer one way or another. "What's your name?" she asked rather blandly. Alan was startled. He had been so absorbed in thought trying to figure out how to ask that same question. Alan looked at her face as she stared off into the distance. She had not even turned to look at him, as if no thought had gone into it at all. He saw no pain in her, no racking herself over to find a way to raise the question. There was a certain sociopathy about her, not derived from lack of empathy, but from a lack of depth. "Alan, what's yours?" "Anna." She then curled up into a ball and fell back into Alan's arms, staring into his eyes with an innocent smile. How simple her life must be, free from the torture of an insatiable curiosity. He wanted to know her bliss, but to know would be for him to unknow. They sat there together for another 5 minutes, as she rested in his arms, with her head nestled up against his naked chest, eyes closed, smiling. As they began to dress, she would periodically look up at him and let out a guiltless giggle. Anna got into the front passenger seat as Alan turned the keys in the ignition, and as he drove off, she kicked her feet up on the dashboard, legs bare before her stylistically tattered jean shorts. Alan would periodically look over at her only to see her staring at him. He hadn't driven more than 3 miles, hadn't even cleared the farmland, when he looked over at her one more time to see her staring at him with a look of utter terror upon her face. She quickly removed her legs from the dashboard as her shoulders tensed around her, forming an invisible cocoon. She gazed down at her legs, arms crossed. Alan was dumbfounded. As he looked at her, he had the sense that she felt naked in front of an auditorium of cannibals with insatiable hunger. What had he done wrong? He had perfectly crafted the conversation with her. There was no intimidating depth, no substance beyond what he knew she could handle. "Please take me home," she said with an air of anxiety in her voice. That's where we're going, Anna." She said nothing as she turned away and racked herself against the door. Despair filled Alan's mind as he looked ahead. They were back in town now, as he began traversing the tangles of roads towards Anna's home. Alan felt as if he wanted to break down into tears. Though as quickly as they appeared, it seemed as if some shadow of a previous life he had lived vanquished his emotions, and once more he felt nothing. He was once more totally detached from the situation. He looked over at her, excuse me, guys, one more time, nonchalantly, only 2 blocks away from her house. He queried Anna coldly, "You want me to drop you off here, or take you to your house?" He knew that she probably did not want her parents to see him, let alone for this man to know, who now appeared grotesquely inhuman to her, to see her parents, or where she lived. "This is fine," she said with a noticeable quiver in her voice. That's it for this section. I will come at you with the next one tomorrow. Love y'all. Peace.